The board really says what I'm doing, but I'm going to predict everything from standings, playoffs, trophies, all that fun stuff. And really like your thoughts and what you guys think is going to happen in this season. I'm very much looking forward to it in the comments. But let's get into it. Okay, so let's get into the standings predictions for the West. Now, fair warning, this is probably going to be brutally wrong, and we can talk about it in April. But, the last place team in the conference I feel like is going to be the Vancouver Canucks. This team is a bunch of fourth liners with a bunch of kids. You got Tim Schaller, good signing. That's a great piece on a championship team if you have stars. Not if he's going to be like your third line player or second line player like he probably is talent-wise on this team right now. Gaudette's going to Utica, Thatcher Demko's probably staying in Utica, Oli Olivi's probably staying in Utica, and this team's staying in the cellar, man. This is not a good team. Next on the list, falling off, we'll have the mighty have fallen, the Chicago Blackhawks. I hope you guys rot in hell because you guys deserve this, man. 3 cups you put me through. Game 6 of 2013, gross, man. Not a fun time, but it's fun now because I get to laugh at you as you trade people to the Coyotes randomly. You guys really don't got much. You got that DeBrincat guy, but that's about it for young talent. I mean, Artemi Panarin looks good on the Blue Jackets, though, doesn't he? Next on the list, the Dallas Stars. I don't really buy this team too much. They're a one-line team. Ben, Radulov, Sagan, great line. Miss Sagan. He looked good in a Bruins sweater. But you guys are trash outside of that first line, really. I mean, Valeri Nichushkin's back. Woo. You got no defense, really. You got Klingberg, who brings offense to defense. I mean, guys aren't really that coached well. I mean, prove me wrong, but I don't buy you guys. To the point I put the Coyotes above you just because they played good at the end of last year. And Toronto looked good. You got Yalmerson. Oh, Chicago, you're familiar with him. You got OEL. You got some young players coming up like Dylan Strome. Maybe their youth just pushes them over you guys. But I don't really have a reason for putting the Coyotes above you except for their predictions, so I might as well get a little weird with it. Next on the list, I'm going to go LA. You guys are just old. Kovalchuk's not what he used to be, I don't think. He played in Russia, he's going to take a while to get used to like the less wide ice surface. Kopitar needs to have the year he had last year. Doughty needs to have the year he had last year. Quick needs to be solid, and you guys have a shot at the playoffs. But if that doesn't go your way and they don't put up like Doughty a 70-point season, Kopitar a 90-point season, Quick 2.3 goals against and a 930 save percentage, you guys aren't making the playoffs. Next on the list, another old team, but it has good depth. I could actually see them making the playoffs, and that's the Minnesota Wild. Ryan Suter's getting up there. Parise's getting up there. You got Grunland. You got Nino Niederreiter. You got Jordan Greenway, the BU guy. I don't know. I just think it's time you guys hit a cold streak, and it's enough for you guys to not make the playoffs. Nothing personal. And last but not least, the teams that won't make the playoffs are the Edmonton Oilers. Connor McDavid can carry you so far. He is your team. Leon Draisaitl is pretty good, too. People sleep on him. But I don't think you guys have the team around them to make the playoffs. Could be wrong if your depth comes along, but I don't see it. Your defense doesn't look that good. Cam Talbot's a one-year wonder, I think, at this point. But it was nice to see you in the playoffs 2 years ago. Might be a few more years till we see that again. But McDavid is kind of like Jesus, so McJesus might carry you. Next in the second wildcard team is the Colorado Avalanche. I like some of your young defensemen. I like Barry. I like Girard. I like your young forwards. I like Rantanen. I like McKinnon. I like Landeskog. I like Jost. I like Kerfoot. Just a lot of players I like, so I'm biased. I'm putting you guys at Wildcard 2. Wildcard 1 is another team that I'm kind of biased towards because I love Johnny Gaudreau. Johnny Gaudreau will carry that team. I think Mike Smith stays healthy enough to carry you. I could be wrong about that. Goaltending's very shaky there. John Gillies, Providence College guy. Maybe he'll play a little more. But the Flames have some good pieces in reality. Kachuk, Monahan. It's just not a bad team, and you guys have been so unlucky. I think it's about time you guys get lucky and get into playoff spot after getting hot. Now to teams that actually matter, and that's the division winners. Sorry, my chips are out of order here. Let's start with the Pacific. Alright, third in the Pacific, I got the Anaheim Mighty Ducks. Great defense. Offense can be a little lackluster. You might get Ryan Kessler back. That could help if he's healthy. I like Ricard Raquel. I like Troy Terry, USA player in the Olympics this past winter. You guys got some nice pieces, but I think that defense and John Gibson will carry you to third spot in the Pacific. Second in the Pacific, and I'm torn whether I should put them first or second, is the Vegas Golden Knights. You lose some pieces, but you gain Pacioretty and Stastny. I'd say you guys did fairly well. I would have liked to see you guys add on the defensive side, but is what it is. You guys still got Fleury. I expect more of the same. You guys are fast, you guys are lightning, and you had Stastny and Pacioretty. You just got more skill, in my opinion. Tarberry played for you, so you didn't really lose much. I really like Vegas, and I think they're going to be the second seed behind the San Jose Sharks. You robbed the Senators twice. You got Hoffman. You flipped him to Florida for more. You got Carlson. Your GM deserves GM of the year, and the season hasn't even started. That power play is going to be filthy with Burns, Carlson, Thornton, Pavelski, Couture. You got Hurdle, who's young and good. Timo Meier, who's young and good. Marc-Eduardo Vlasic, not to mention, is a very good one of the best defensive defensemen in the league. Team's going to be filthy. I expect them to win the division. I don't think they're going to win the President's Trophy, though. I don't think they're going to be the number 1 seed in the West. I think they're going to be the second number 1 seed in the West. Moving on to the Central, though, a team I really like what they did in the offseason is the St. Louis Blues. Big fan of Ryan O'Reilly. You got Tyler Bozak, solid third-line center. You still got Braden Shen. You got Tarasenko and Schwartz. Good offense. You got defense. You got Pietrangelo, Colin Parayko, Jay Bouwmeester all on a different pair. That should work out fine, I think. Jake Allen should be a steady goaltender. I think that's enough to get you into third in the Central, because I honestly think the Central Division has fallen off big time. I think there's 2 big dogs at the top, and I think under that it's kind of weak. So I think you guys are in the middle of being a lesser team in the Central and a good team, and I think that puts you at third. Because as you can see from my standings, I don't think really too much of the Central. I think the Avalanche are just a step below you this year. I think you guys did enough to get better than them. Tough loss you guys took in that playoff game 82 last year, but I think you bounced back this year. Second in this division, this one's a tough decision. Actually, not really. I'm very much on the Jets bandwagon. Not really, because I'm not a fan, but I'm very high on how talented they are. But second, let's talk about the Nashville Predators. This team would be better than the Jets if they had more consistent scoring. Now, their defense is better than the Jets. Goaltending, I'll say even. But on the forward side, the Jets run away, and that's why the Jets are ahead of you in my preseason standings. Now, you guys have Arvidsson, Forsberg, Johansson, and Turris, which are all solid players, but outside of that, I'm not a big fan of what you got up there. Eli Tolvin, or whatever you call him, he was supposed to come in, but apparently you guys are sending him to the AHL, which I don't really get, because I don't think you guys are that great on the offensive side. You guys are relying way too much on depth scoring. I think that catches up to you and makes you fall all the way to number 2 in your division. Ooh, playoffs. Anyway, you guys will probably run into this team again. The Winnipeg Jets. Filthy, top to bottom. I think they're a little lesser than Nashville defensively. Goaltending, I think, is the same, but forwards, they killed them. Kyle Connor, rookie, put up 30 goals. That's very good depth. Blake Wheeler had a buttload of assists last year. Mark Scheifele, one of the best centers in the NHL, extremely underrated league-wide, broke the record for playoff away goals last year. Random stat. Nikolai Ehlers, Brian Little. Oh, and I mentioned 40 goal scorer Patrick Laine. And Roslovic looks good on the third line. This team's just filthy. You got Brandon Tanev from PC, Providence College kid. I expect them to contend for the President's Trophy, and I think they're going to be the true number 1 seed in the West. And I really think this might be how the West shapes out. I bet I got 3 of the playoff teams right, which is pretty solid, batting 3 out of 8 there. And, you can talk to me in April about how wrong this is, because I bet it's going to be pretty wrong. But now we move on to the East. Now we are on to the Eastern Conference, which I know a lot better than the West, and I feel like my predictions are equally as bad, even though I know more about the East. But not bad enough to get this one wrong, and I think the Ottawa Senators are the worst team in the entire NHL. And when you trade Hoffman and Erik Karlsson, you're not really helping yourself when you were really bad last year as well. Brady Tkachuk, I like, played at BU, but I'm not really sure how instant of an impact he can have, and even if he did have a great impact, it still wouldn't save them from the last spot in the East. Probably be wrong on that, but don't like my chances of being wrong on that. Next, second to last, which I really think this team from top to bottom is also trash, and that's Detroit. Young prospects, I like Zadina, and nobody really else I really like in their system. I like MCU, I like Larkin, but that's not enough, and Jimmy Howard is on his last life in the NHL. Next, you go with the Habs, which they're banking on this Kotkaniemny kid, picked 3rd overall center, to be a difference maker this year. They got Max Domi sucker punching people. Carey Price needs to stand on his head for this team to even have a shot at the wild card, and still, it's just not a good situation. Those 3 teams are in a world of hurt right now, and I don't think anything can make them make the playoffs. But who knows? Another team that's not feeling too happy about life right now is the New York Islanders. Formerly John Tavares' home, now has to be carried by the second coming of awesomeness. That's Matt Barzal. He'll probably leave you for his hometown eventually too. But you know, you lost Calvin DeHaan too. You got a bunch of old Maple Leafs. I mean, you got what's his name? The guy who fights people. Matt Martin. He hits people. I mean, you might as well go get Leo Komarov, or have you already? Anyway, the next team, not too far from this other team, the Rangers. I mean, you guys aren't terrible like the other 4, but you're just not good either. I mean, hopefully Philip Schittle's good. Hopefully I pronounced his name right. I mean, Ryan Spooner's on your team now, former Bruin. But really, your team is I'm not really sure what you guys are. Like, you guys aren't awful, but you're not awful enough to get a extremely high pick, but you're not bad enough to lose to like the teams below you. You're really just in the middle of being like bad and horrible, and it's really not good for you or your future. The next is Carolina. This is where you start to get teams that I think are actually halfway decent. Carolina's got a good defensive core. Carolina's got okay forwards. Carolina always messes it up. Carolina will let you down every time. Carolina has no goaltending. That is a big issue. Carolina doesn't really have the best centers. They're trying Aho out. I don't really think he's a center. It's just good personnel, not deployed in the right way. Could use some centers. Should probably make some more moves. They just got Dougie Hamilton. That helps a little bit. You lost Hannafin. I don't really think you got better. I don't really think you got worse. I think you're still not a playoff team, though. Moving on to the Devils, and this might surprise you. I don't have the Devils in the playoffs anymore. They lost John Moore. I just don't think they're that good of a team, to be honest. They made the playoffs last year. Good for you. I don't know. I just don't really buy you guys on paper. I think that was kind of a fluke that you made the playoffs. Prove me wrong. Moving on. Columbus. I think this Seth Jones injury hurts them more than people realize. And MCL sprains don't always heal in 4 to 6 weeks like they say. I look at your center depth, and you got depth, but you don't really got that guy. Is Pierre-Luc Dubois that? Shouldn't bank on it. He's only going into his 2nd year. Watch him light up the league for 80 points this year. You got Artemi Panarin, who rumoredly doesn't even want to be there. That probably doesn't sit right with some people. It might be a contract thing. Like, he's like, oh, I don't want to be here to get more money, but really, like, I mean, kind of a weird situation going on there. Tortorella, I feel like, might lose the locker room this year. I think when they don't make the playoffs, I'm saying it like it's going to happen. They'll probably be like the 2nd seed and prove me wrong with Zach Werenski and Nick Foligno having a bounce back here. But I just don't really like see any people who can carry it. They got good depth, but I mean, depth doesn't mean anything if you got nothing really in front of it.